In previous two videos, we asked AI to create moving average based filters, which would help us to improve this particular E-mini NASDAQ strategy. And after a few attempts, we got a great idea for slope moving average indicator, which basically helped us to get the strategy from this to this. However, is this slope moving average proposed by AI any good, or was it just coincidence? Let's find out in this video, where we're going to put the AI slope moving average through scrutiny. Hi, my name is Tomas Nesnidal, in the trading industry known as the Mr. Breakout. I'm a professional breakout trading specialist, the author of the life-changing breakout trading book, and author of the universal breakout trading formula, highly prized by traders and professionals from around the world, which you can get at this link. Well, to find out, we need to test this filter on other indexes as well. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to test this filter also on E-mini S&P, on RTY, EMD, YM, and also on the original Nikkei market. First of all, we need to get back to the original strategy and we need to adjust the stop loss slightly. So the original strategy we tested last time was on NASDAQ and it was with stop loss $1,000. This stop loss is quite high for other markets like E-mini S&P or RTY. So what I did here, I just very quickly lowered the stop loss for each of these cross-tested markets. I did this completely discretionarily. That means I did not optimize the stop losses just based on a lot of my own experience with indexes. I already have a sense how much to lower the stop loss to match it with what approximately would be corresponded to $1,000 on NASDAQ, and these are the rough values. So let's begin by seeing what the original strategies look like with the stop loss. This is the original E-mini NASDAQ. This is the same strategy applied on ES. As you can see, not too shabby, but definitely needs a lot of improvement. This is application on E-mini Russell 2000. Again, not horrible, but not fantastic either. This is application on EMD, and as you can see, it still works, but the drawdown is very long and very deep. This is application on E-mini Dow Jones, and the strategy doesn't work well with the YM market. And here is the application on Nikkei, where the strategy was originally developed. As you can see, this looks quite all right. So how do we stress test the condition on other markets now? As you can see, each out of these 6 markets have a different price scale. That means the value cannot be applied the same for each of these markets. For example, here for the E-mini NASDAQ, the ideal range was between -15 and +15, and we cannot expect the same value to work properly on E-mini S&P, where the price scale is basically 1/4 of the E-mini NASDAQ. So what we can do here, we could either normalize the threshold, for example, as a percentage, or we need to optimize this threshold for each market individually, which will be the version we will go with. Now to explain, in this test, we're not trying to see how robust the strategies are or how robust this particular indicator is. All we want to see is whether this particular moving average slope condition or filter, or rather a filter, has a possibility to work among wide range of markets. Because if yes, then the filter is potentially really good. Okay, now how do we optimize this? Well, it's very simple. So the original NASDAQ strategy used the range between -15 and +15. That means we're using the same value, a symmetrical value. We're just in one case using the negative value and in the second case the positive value. So what I'm very comfortable to do here is just take this slope threshold input and optimize it with values from 1 to 40, step 1, which will result in range between -1 and +1 up to -40 to +40. Now, this is the value we're optimizing on each market individually from 1 to 40, step 1, and let's run the optimization. All right, the optimization has been completed and now we have optimal values for each market, and that's the moment of the truth. So with each market, let's compare the original again with the filtered. All right, let's start with E-mini NASDAQ, which we already know, that works very well, and the moving average with input period 15 did a fantastic job. Now let's move to E-mini S&P. So this is the original version. As you can see, quite a drawdown, but with moving average slope. Wow, that gets definitely much better. It's a pretty nice improvement. I'm very happy with this improvement. And the profit factor jumps from 126 to 149, and the average trade jumps from $68 to very, very impressive 111. That's a really good result as well, and the optimal value here would be 5. Let's now move to E-mini Russell 2000, and this is the original strategy, and here we have the improved strategy. Well, this looks like very, very minor difference. Let's have a look. If we improve the profit factor and average trade, so the profit factor jumped from 125 and average trade from 51 to 126 and 54. That's not a massive improvement, but still is an improvement. So I'm pretty happy here as well, because we can see that there still keeps going to be a pretty good value in the moving average slope. Let's move to EMD. So this is the original strategy, and this looks like it's completely the same. So we have 135 profit factor, 133. Okay, so there's a very minor improvement. 133 profit factor, 114 average trade, improved to 118 and 121 average trade. So the average trade jumped from 114 to 121. Well, that's not bad. The equity curve looks quite similar. We probably filtered out just few trades, but again, there still is a small improvement, not a massive one. So definitely some small value here as well. Now let's have a look at YM. So first of all, the underlying strategy doesn't really work well on the YM market. So I don't have many expectations here, since the strategy alone is really weak for this market and there's not much to filter out, but let's have a look. Okay, so that's pretty much horrible, but something we would expect with this initial strategy, from 106 to 102. So this one got worse, and I would probably discard this. So we basically should test this on markets where we see the initial strategy or underlying strategies work on quite well. So anyway, no improvement here. And finally, Nikkei. Okay, so this is the original version, and here we have the improved version. Wow, that's definitely worse. By the way, again, the entire strategy was built, Mr. Breakout's formula, which you can download for free on the link below, and which I personally used to create about 2,500 strategies for my hedge fund. And now let's make a summary. So what do I think about this outcome? What do I think about this slope moving average suggested by AI? First of all, there is still more potential to play with, because we did not touch the original input values of moving average length and the look back period. We basically use both the same, which again can be optimized, but then we're risking to run into overfitting or over-optimization issues. So we should be very careful about it. And to give it a proper test, we probably would have to run it through full walk forward test. That means through walk forward test, including moving average length, look back, and also the slope threshold. But overall, I am quite happy with the results. So we got a fantastic result on E-mini NASDAQ. We got a fantastic result on E-mini S&P. We got little bit of improvement on RTY. We got a little bit of improvement on EMD, and we did not get an improvement. Actually, we got it worse on these two markets, YM and Nikkei. So 4 of 6 did see improvement, which I think is quite awesome. Is this a magical filter? Definitely not. But to give it some rating, I would give it full 70%. I think there's a lot of great stuff about the moving average slope. I think it's a simple condition which can be used quite universally and which definitely is worth adding to your database of functional filters. Now, let me remind you, this was just an initial simple AI test. What I plan to do, I want to go deeper. I want to put AI through much better and more advanced testing. So if you want to be part of it, if you want to see what will come out of this, then don't forget to subscribe and give us a like, so I know this is the kind of content you want to see more. Also, don't forget to download the Mr. Breakout's Formula Guide completely for free, and I'll see you in the next AI episode, which will be about AI improvements of one of my most favorite indicators ever, the ADX. So subscribe, give us a like, and see you in the next one.